Unbelievable comebacks, financial frauds, and mysteries. Have you ever heard of people who lost everything overnight and made an unbelievable comeback? It's the kind of story that makes you wonder if you're reading the Financial Times or watching one of those late-night infomercials, like the ones about miracle weight loss. But what if I told you that behind these comeback stories lie dark mysteries and billion-dollar financial frauds? Buckle up, because today, we're diving headfirst into the murky depths of the financial world. We're going to talk about shocking cases of people who faced financial scandals, manipulation, and even betrayal, but who, somehow, against all odds, rewrote their destinies. We'll explore the fine line between cunning brilliance and blatant fraud, examining those who manipulated the system and somehow managed to come out on top. Stay until the end because the last story is so absurd it seems like it came straight out of a Hollywood movie. And believe me, you won't want to miss my take on this one. The rise and fall and rise of Nick Leeson. Rogue trader or scapegoat? Let's go back to the 90s, a time when shoulder pads were huge, hair was even bigger, and the financial world was about to learn a very expensive lesson, courtesy of one man, Nick Leeson. Picture this, a young trader, seemingly brilliant and undeniably ambitious, working his magic at Barings Bank. And this wasn't just any bank, no, this was Barings Bank, one of the oldest and most prestigious institutions in the UK. They practically invented the concept of wearing a monocle while discreetly judging your portfolio. Nick Leeson was the guy, the moneymaker, the one you wanted handling your investments. He controlled the trading operations, and for a while everything seemed to be going great, except for the small detail that he was secretly operating a dummy account. Think of it as the financial equivalent of having a secret Instagram account dedicated to pictures of your cat dressed as Napoleon, except instead of embarrassing cat pictures, this account was full of unauthorized trades, risky bets, and enough financial shenanigans to make even the most seasoned Wall Street shark blush. Now you must be thinking, surely someone must have noticed this unauthorized side hustle, and you'd be right eventually. In 1995, the whole house of cards came crashing down. Leeson's reckless gambles didn't just lose money, they caused the complete and utter collapse of Barings Bank. That's right, this man, with his secret account and questionable trading habits, single-handedly brought down a bank that had been around since people still thought powdered wigs were a good look. Naturally, when the bomb went off, Leeson did what any sensible person would do when faced with the consequences of their actions. He ran. He became an international fugitive, a Carmen Sandiego of high finance, so to speak. But even the most elaborate escape plan can only outrun the long arm of the law for so long. Leeson was eventually caught and sentenced to prison. And you might think that's where our story ends, a cautionary tale about ambition, greed, and the dangers of unauthorized cat pictures. But oh no, my friends, this is where things get really interesting. Because after serving his time, Nick Leeson did what any ex-con who brought down a centuries-old bank would do. He reinvented himself. He didn't hide away and try to fade into obscurity. He became a self-help guru, a motivational speaker, and a best-selling author. He even had the audacity to write a book about his experience, aptly titled Rogue Trader. And the most unbelievable part? People loved it. They flocked to his seminars, bought his book, and listened intently as the man who once broke a bank gave them lessons on risk management and financial responsibility. It's enough to make you wonder if we're all living in a simulation where right is wrong, black is white, and a disgraced trader can become a best-selling author without a hint of irony. So, was Nick Leeson a misunderstood genius, a victim of circumstance, or just a master manipulator who figured out how to profit from his own downfall? The answer, my friends, is as clear as a glass of muddy water. But that, my friends, is the beauty of these stories. We can dissect the details, analyze the motives, and ultimately decide for ourselves, was it fraud or genius? The disappearance of Xiao Jianhua, billionaire on the run. Now let's take a peek into the glamorous world of Chinese billionaires, where fortunes are made overnight and disappearances are surprisingly common. Our next story features a man who makes the amazing Randy look like an amateur magician, Zhao Jianhua. Imagine being one of the richest men in the world, swimming in more money than you could ever spend, with connections to the highest levels of power. You're practically untouchable, right? Well, that's what Xiao Jianhua probably thought too, until one fateful day in 2017. This wasn't your average, need a break from the paparazzi kind of disappearance. No, this was a full-blown kidnapping, ripped straight from the headlines. Xiao was snatched from a luxury hotel in Hong Kong, a place known for its opulence and five-star security. It was like something out of a spy movie, except the main character wasn't Jason Bourne. It was a billionaire with a penchant for shady investments. Rumors were swirling faster than a roulette wheel in Macau. Had he been kidnapped by business rivals? Was it a government-sanctioned silencing? Did he fake his own disappearance to avoid paying taxes? For years, the truth remained shrouded in mystery. Some believed he was imprisoned, others thought he'd been silenced. It was the ultimate game of, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? But with real stakes and way more money involved. Then, after years of speculation and whispered rumors, the truth finally emerged. As shocking and bizarre as anything a screenwriter could have cooked up, Xiao Jianhua had been detained, not by gangsters or shadowy figures, but by the Chinese government. His crime? Allegedly taking part in a multi-billion-dollar money laundering scheme, a financial scandal so vast and intricate it would make Bernie Madoff blush. Now you might be thinking, well, he got caught red-handed. He deserves what he's getting. But here's the thing about the Xiao Jianhua case. It's never that simple. Was he really the mastermind behind this elaborate scheme? Or was he just a pawn in a much larger political game? Was he targeted for his wealth, his connections, or both? The lines between justice, politics, and financial intrigue blur in his story, leaving us with more questions than answers. Xiao Jianhua's story is a stark reminder that even in the world of unimaginable wealth, no one is truly above the law, or the reach of a government with a long memory and a thirst for justice, or at least its own version of it. And the unbelievable part? After years of detention, Xiao re-emerged. A ghost returned from the shadows. His reappearance was as sudden and unexplained as his disappearance, leaving the world wondering what really happened during his time in the shadows. Was he truly remorseful? Or had he simply made a deal to save his own skin? Had he learned his lesson, or was he already planning his next move? The saga of Xiao Jianhua is a roller coaster ride through the opaque world of Chinese finance, a stark reminder that behind the glittering facade of wealth and power, there are always darker forces at play. Chapter 3. Bernie Madoff, the man who swindled America. Now let's turn our attention to a name synonymous with financial fraud. A man who pulled off the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. A scheme so bold, so brazen, it makes you wonder if we're all just pawns in some giant cosmic game of deception. I'm talking, of course, about Bernie Madoff, the man who fooled everyone, from celebrities to charities, from pension funds to international banks. He was the ultimate financial predator, a wolf in sheep's clothing, preying on the trust and naivete of those who believed in his carefully constructed facade. For decades, Madoff was the epitome of Wall Street success. He was the name whispered in hushed tones, the man everyone wanted to invest with. He had the Midas touch, or so it seemed. But behind the veneer of respectability, behind the closed doors of his investment firm, Madoff was orchestrating a financial charade of epic proportions. He wasn't investing a dime of his clients' money. Instead, he was running a classic Ponzi scheme, using money from new investors to pay off older ones, while pocketing a hefty sum for himself. It was a house of cards built on lies, deceit, and an almost unbelievable level of audacity. And the really infuriating part? He got away with it for decades. Decades! It's enough to make you question the very fabric of our financial system, to wonder if it's all just a giant game rigged in favor of the Bernie Madoffs of the world. But like all good things, Madoff's reign of financial terror finally came to an end. In 2008, as the world reeled from the global financial crisis, Madoff's carefully constructed empire crumbled like a stale croissant. The jig was up, the money was gone, and Bernie Madoff, the man who once seemed invincible, was exposed as the fraud he truly was. The fallout was catastrophic. Investors, big and small, lost their life savings. Charities and foundations were forced to shut down. The ripple effects of Madoff's crimes were felt around the world. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison, a symbolic gesture that did little to appease the anger and frustration of his countless victims. He died behind bars, his name forever etched in the annals of financial infamy. But here's the kicker: the detail that makes Madoff's story even more infuriating. Some of the people close to him, people who knew about the scheme, people who benefited from his ill-gotten gains, managed to escape unscathed. They walked away with their fortunes intact, leaving the rest of us to pick up the pieces. It's a bitter pill to swallow, a reminder that in the world of high finance, justice is often a luxury reserved for the rich and well-connected. Bernie Madoff's story isn't just about financial fraud, it's about the erosion of trust, the abuse of power, and the systemic failures that allowed such a massive scheme to flourish for so long. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith, the allure of easy money, and the importance of asking questions even when the answers may be uncomfortable. So, there you have it. 3 unbelievable stories of financial fraud, mystery, and the audacity of those who manipulate the system. We traveled from the trading floors of London to the shadowy backrooms of Chinese finance, all the way to the heart of Wall Street, and along the way, we met a cast of characters who wouldn't be out of place in a Scorsese movie. These stories prove that, in the financial world, the line between success and disaster is as clear as a glass of sewer water after a rainstorm. Some people manage to rise from the ashes of their own mistakes like a phoenix, while others disappear forever, their fates as uncertain as the stock market on a Monday morning. But here's what keeps me coming back for more. What keeps me up at night, scribbling notes furiously and drinking questionable amounts of coffee. It's the mysteries, the unanswered questions, the lingering feeling that we're only scratching the surface of a much bigger and more complex story. Stories like these prove that in the financial world the line between success and disaster is razor thin. Some people manage to get back on their feet while others disappear forever. But what fascinates us most is how mysteries, frauds, and twists continue to shock us. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Do you think any of these people really changed, or did they just find new ways to manipulate the system? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories. See you in the next video.